85. Following this path was dangerous. It would take them to remote galaxies, and something marked in bright red. The team could not believe their eyes. Had the meteor carried a message from another world? Were they looking at a warning, or a guide? Every theory they had ever held about Earth's history suddenly felt small, insignificant. The star map glowed on the probe screen, casting eerie light across the lab. Red dots marked places in distant galaxies. One dot pulsed brighter than the rest. It was almost like it was calling. Dr. Richter stared at it. This is impossible. Meteors don't carry star maps. They don't point to planets. Her voice trembled with a mixture of fear and excitement. Unless someone wanted us to find it. The team exchanged nervous glances. Could this be proof of intelligent life beyond Earth? Or was it something more dangerous? Richter pressed her finger to the screen. The symbols on the panel shifted, forming new shapes. It was responding to them. 4 hours, they tried to decipher it. Every attempt felt like trying to read an alien language with no key. And yet, patterns began to emerge. The symbols weren't random. They were coordinates, repeated across time and space. They pointed to places where other meteors like this one had landed, or disappeared. One scientist, Dr. Lin, whispered, "What if this isn't just a message? What if it's a warning?" The room went silent. The hum from the chamber grew louder, almost like it agreed with her. Richter's mind raced. Could the meteor have been sent here intentionally? Was it left behind as a signal for future civilizations? Or was it a trap? The thought made her stomach turn. Then, the probe detected something new. Beneath the panel, a small compartment had opened. Inside, there were tiny fragments, shiny, crystalline pieces that shimmered like liquid light. They were embedded with microscopic symbols, the same as on the panel. The team leaned in, awestruck. No one had seen anything like this. These crystals hummed with energy, vibrating in their hands. They felt warm, almost alive. Richter realized something terrifying. These fragments, they could be the key to controlling it, she said. Or, it could destroy everything if we're wrong. As night fell outside the lab, the team continued their study. They connected the crystals to the probe and watched as the symbols formed a three-dimensional projection above the panel. It wasn't just a map. It was a simulation. The meteors, the impacts, the energy readings, they all appeared in motion. Suddenly, one red dot on the projection expanded violently. It was brighter than the rest. The screen blinked, and a warning appeared in symbols they couldn't read. But the probe sensors detected a massive energy spike nearby. Richter's heart raced. Something was awakening, deep beneath the Earth. She knew they had little time. Whatever the meteor carried, it wasn't meant to be ignored. And yet, the team hesitated. How far should they go? What if the pulse beneath them grew stronger? What if they unleashed something they could never control? The chamber trembled again. Dust fell from the ceiling. The glowing map twisted, forming a new shape, an intricate spiral that pulsed with energy. And then, faintly, the metallic object from before shifted, as if acknowledging their presence. The probe picked up a faint whisper in the readings. Not sound. Not human. A signal. A message. One that seemed to reach out across millions of years, waiting for someone to respond. The tremors under the lab grew stronger. Richter's hands shook as she watched the metallic object shift again. The crystals floated higher, spinning slowly, pulsing with light. It was as if the meteor was alive, or at least responding to them. "Everyone, step back," she warned. "We don't know what this will do." But curiosity overpowered fear. The team stayed close, watching every flicker, every pulse. Then, the probe detected something moving below the chamber. Not small. Something massive. The sensors couldn't measure its size. It was buried too deep, but its energy readings were off the charts. Dr. Lin's eyes widened. It's not just the meteor. There's something else, something alive underground. Richter swallowed hard. For millions of years, the meteor had lain in this chamber, hidden beneath layers of rock. And now, something connected to it was waking up. She glanced at the glowing panel. The symbols formed a new pattern, almost like instructions, or a warning. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The room went dark for a second, and when they returned, the projection above the panel had changed. The spiral had expanded, reaching out toward the walls of the chamber. Lines of energy raced through the floor, following cracks and fractures in the rock. The team realized with horror, whatever was under the earth was moving toward them. The probe sensors showed enormous pressure and heat. Richter could feel it vibrating through her boots. The metallic object shifted again, forming a doorway-like shape. A faint blue glow came from the center. The crystals floated toward it, as if being drawn by an invisible force. Richter stepped closer. "It wants us to follow," she whispered. The team hesitated. The doorway wasn't just a shape. It looked like an entrance to another world. The air inside the lab felt charged. Electricity sparked in the machines. The temperature dropped. Then, the massive movement beneath the earth caused a tremor so strong that dust rained down from the ceiling. Richter made a decision. "We need to know what's inside. We can't turn back now." She activated the probe and sent it into the doorway. The camera flickered as it passed through the blue glow. On the screen, they saw a long tunnel, carved from smooth black metal, glowing with faint symbols along the walls. The probe moved slowly down the tunnel. Strange sounds echoed back, not air, not wind, but a deep hum. The crystals vibrated in rhythm with it. Every pulse seemed alive. Every light seemed intelligent. Then, the probe sensors detected a large cavity ahead. Something enormous waited there, but the camera couldn't capture its shape. The readings were too powerful. Richter stared at the screen in disbelief. "It's huge, bigger than anything on Earth, or maybe in space." The tremors grew stronger. Dust fell like rain. The metallic doorway began to hum. The crystals aligned themselves in a perfect line, pointing toward the cavity. Richter realized something terrifying. The meteor wasn't just a rock. It was a signal. A beacon. And something, or someone, had answered. The probe hovered near the edge of the cavity. A faint silhouette appeared in the distance. It was tall, dark, and metallic, reflecting the glow of the crystals. It didn't move at first. Then slowly, it lifted a massive arm, or something like an arm. The hum grew louder. Richter and her team felt it in their bones, a resonance so powerful it was almost painful. The glow from the chamber was blinding now. Richter shielded her eyes, but the team could see the metallic figure more clearly. It was enormous, taller than a skyscraper, with a surface that shimmered like liquid metal. Symbols crawled over its body, glowing and shifting, almost like they were alive. The crystals floated around it, orbiting like tiny moons. The hum of energy filled the chamber, vibrating through every bone, every machine, every rock. Richter could feel it in her chest. Her heart raced. "What is it?" someone whispered. But Richter didn't answer. No one could. Words could not describe what they were seeing. Then, something impossible happened. The metallic figure extended an arm toward the crystals. A beam of light shot out from its fingertips, striking each crystal. They absorbed the light instantly, glowing brighter, then aligning themselves into a perfect circle around the figure. The air shimmered. The ground trembled. And then, as if responding to some ancient command, the metallic figure lifted off the ground slightly. It floated, suspended by an invisible force. The symbols on its body shifted again, forming a pattern that looked like instructions. Richter realized the truth. The meteor had been more than a rock. It had been a container, a key, a signal for something hidden beneath the earth. For millions of years, it had waited, quiet, buried, almost forgotten, until someone intelligent enough came close. The figure's glowing eyes, or whatever passed for eyes, locked onto the probe. It wasn't hostile, at least not yet. But it was aware. It was studying them, learning, understanding. Then the projection on the panel above the lab activated again. It showed Earth. Not just the surface but deep below, into the core. Lines of energy ran through the planet like veins. The meteor wasn't just a signal, it was part of a system. A system that could manipulate energy, possibly even change the planet itself. Richter's hands shook. This isn't just history. This is power. The metallic figure moved closer to the circle of crystals. It bent slightly, and then touched the largest crystal. A pulse of light shot upward, striking the ceiling of the chamber. The walls of stone and metal trembled. Machines sparked. Dust filled the air. The team realized something horrifying. If the meteor and this figure were activated fully, no one knew what would happen. It could change Earth forever. It could destroy it. Or, it could awaken something even older, something they had no name for. Richter had one thought, sharp and clear: we're not just observers anymore. We're part of this now. And we don't know the rules. The metallic figure pulsed one last time. Symbols appeared on the walls. A sequence, clear and deliberate. A message. It wasn't in words, but in energy and light. It pointed toward a distant location in space, far beyond the solar system. Somewhere the meteor had come from. And then, a sound, deep, resonant, almost like a voice, echoed in the chamber. Not human. Not animal. Something old. Something awake. The pulse of energy in the chamber grew unbearable. Richter shielded her eyes as the metallic figure hovered above the circle of crystals. Its symbols glowed brighter than ever, pulsating in rhythm with the heartbeat of the planet itself. The probe's camera captured it all: the massive figure, the spinning crystals, the walls alive with alien symbols. The team could see now that this was no ordinary meteor. It had been a container, a messenger, and a key, all in one. Richter stepped closer, her heart pounding. She reached for the largest crystal. The moment her hand touched it, the figure reacted. A beam of pure energy shot from the crystal into her palm. She didn't feel pain. She felt understanding. Images filled her mind. She saw stars exploding, planets forming, meteors traveling across galaxies. She saw civilizations rise and fall. And she saw Earth, not as it was, but as it could be. The meteor had carried knowledge. Knowledge from an ancient species that had watched worlds like hers for millions of years. This is incredible, Richter whispered. It's history. It's a warning. And maybe a gift. The figure's arms rose, and the chamber trembled. The crystals spun faster, forming a vortex of energy. Richter realized the meteor hadn't disappeared, it had been waiting for someone to activate it. Someone intelligent enough to understand. Someone from Earth. And now, it had chosen her. The symbols on the figure formed a map in the air. Not just a map of stars, but a map of energy lines crisscrossing Earth. They led to hidden places, ancient locations buried for millions of years. The meteor, the crystals, the figure, they were part of a network. A network that could harness the planet's energy, protect it, or destroy it if misused. Richter turned to her team. We found the meteor. But we found so much more. This isn't just a rock. This is a key to the planet itself. And someone left it here on purpose. The metallic figure pulsed one last time, then slowly receded into the chamber walls. The crystals floated back into the panel, disappearing as if they had never existed. The hum faded. The vibrations stopped. For a long moment, silence filled the lab. Dust settled. The team stared at the empty space where the figure had hovered. Richter exhaled. It's gone, but not gone. It's still here. Waiting. Watching. And now, we have to decide what to do next. She knew the world wasn't ready for this secret. Humanity wasn't ready to know that Earth had been chosen, that a meteor carried intelligence, and that something far older than humans had been waiting for someone to find it. The meteor wasn't missing anymore. It had revealed its purpose. But the real mystery was just beginning. What other secrets had been left on Earth? And what would happen if they were awakened? Richter looked at the star map that remained on the probe. That bright red, the one that had called to them, still pulsed. Somewhere, out there in space, something was waiting. Something that had sent the meteor to Earth millions of years ago. The question that haunted Richter and her team was simple, terrifying, and unanswered. Was humanity ready for the secrets the meteor had carried across the stars? And with that thought, the lab fell silent. The mystery had been solved. But the danger had only just begun.